What's up, everybody? Welcome to Podcast Now. I'm Alex, and in this video, I want to talk about what's going on with Hellblade 2. This is my series where I take a look at a game or a franchise, and I talk about where it is right now, currently, and where it's going to be in 2023, kind of talking about the future of it. And for Senua's Saga, Hellblade 2, I'm going to call it Hellblade 2 for the purposes of it just rolls off the tongue better. This was a game I'm really excited for. If I were to rank just Xbox exclusives kind of coming in the near or even far off future, honestly, Hellblade 2 I think would probably be second. I've kind of said Fable really interests me. I think I'd probably put Fable at number 1. Hellblade 2 I think would be number 2. Honestly, over Indiana Jones and Starfield and Redfall and all these games, I think these two games would go first. Hellblade, the first one, I thought was just a really special game. It wasn't a perfect game, but it was just really special. I've told the story before that it's one of the only games I've ever put headphones on. I'm not a headphone gamer. I want to try to move into that. It's a New Year's resolution for 2023, but this is a game I played, entirely with headphones on, and of course, you need it. It enhances the experience a ton, and the game's kind of made for you to wear headphones. And so for this game, this past year has been a year of relative silence. Last time we saw it, in action, big time, the big show was, I believe, last year at the Game Awards. So it's been a full year, but they did do a few things here and there on social media, like keeping themselves around. The question, really, because, when you talk about the past of, what they've accomplished in 2022, well, from a public, standpoint and what they've shown us, very little. But from, obviously, a behind the scenes, this was probably, I'd imagine, an incredibly important year, right? That kind of gap year where now things should start to get really serious with this game. And this is a lot of what I want to talk about in this video. Going into 2023, there has been back and forth talk in terms of like the rumor mill and all that stuff. Is this the year that Hellblade 2 comes out, right? Well, when you look at what Microsoft kind of expects to come out this year, Hellblade 2 is not one of them, but that doesn't mean Hellblade 2 can't sneak in. I think Hellblade 2 and Avowed both have maybe an equal-ish chance of sneaking in at the very tail end of the year, right? It's a little bit different than other, maybe even Xbox exclusives / really any of these games, because when we look at, okay, well, is the first half even like a realistic possibility? For Starfield, right? We had that discussion in my Starfield video. I personally think Starfield slips, and I think it actually comes out second half of the year. But there are plenty of people that think it comes out in the first half, which is, it's fine, right? Because I think there is that possibility. For Hellblade, I feel like we can all kind of settle that this game, there's no chance. There's no chance this game comes out first half of the year. And even saying second half of the year probably isn't the right thing to say, because who would say that this game comes out in July or August, right? I really do think this game, at best, slips into November or December. Like, I really do think it gets that close. But I hope, I mentioned Avowed, and maybe I'll do one of these videos for Avowed as well, because Avowed looks awesome. I'm really excited for that. I'd love to end the year, right? So you got Forza Motorsport coming out next year as well for Xbox. You got Starfield and Redfall. I'd love for just one of Avowed or Hellblade 2 to slip in just at the very end of the year. I think that would be, as long as obviously the games perform, I think that'd be a killer year for Xbox. So I'm really rooting for it in that sense. But this game, from what we've seen so far, phenomenal. Unreal Engine 5. Again, I just trust them. The last Hellblade game, or the only other Hellblade game, was so good in my opinion, and I do think they're gonna nail it. I do think this probably is gonna be an example of a sequel that just it really is bigger and better in kind of every way. I'm pumped. I really am. This is gonna be another one of those games where I will again be putting on those headphones that maybe I haven't put on. I think I've put them on since 2017, but I'll have to put them on yet again for this game. So that's the big question. But I will throw this out there: what else could happen, right? So even if the game doesn't come out in 2023, or I guess if it does, both of which I still would say 2023 is going to be a big year from our eyes, right? So like this past year, again, big for them most likely, because I'm sure they got a lot of stuff done, but from us, not so much. But now this upcoming year, I do think this is the year that we start to see stuff. And, this is really the year we got to start to see a lot of Xbox things. I think that makes it exciting. Even you could use the same thing for Avowed. Like, I do think this is the year, because if these two games don't make it, right, or I guess specifically for this video for Hellblade, say Hellblade doesn't make it in 2023, well, I'd really hope it comes out early 2024, right? So we're looking at another, year and 2 months, year and 3 months. I still think then we would start to see a fair amount of things in this upcoming, 2023. I think we'd see stuff, and that just makes sense, right? I think you'd have a natural rollout of info probably 3 to 6 months before the game comes, any of these games. So like Redfall, we should start to see it pretty, I mean, we already have seen Redfall, we've seen the most of, right, of any of these Xbox games. So we should start to see more. Starfield, we should start to see more, whether the game comes out in April or October. We should start to see more relatively soon. Hellblade, same thing. I'm not talking about early in the year, but I think once you get to that second half of 2023, whether the game releases in the second half or not, I think we should start to see it. Gamescom, definitely, like Game Awards, if not, like if it misses the entire year, and then if it's at the Game Awards, I think that would also, kind of make sense. I don't know if I'd prefer that. I think it would just make sense, right? So hopefully, no matter what, whether it releases this upcoming year or not, we see it again for sure, and we just start to see more and more and more of it as, the lead up to the game actually releases. Now, I will say, I don't even know how much we need to see of this game. I think it's going to be in line with the first one, so, like, if you played the first one, you kind of know what to expect. Again, like, obviously, they're doing some different stuff, but I think you would know a little bit of what to expect. We have seen it in a pretty big chunk of gameplay or kind of, like, raw footage at the Game Awards, so I think people know what this game is. I don't know how much you need to show, but just, kind of to get that ball rolling, because then the game would come out. So that's what I would hope to see in 2023. Hopefully a big year, not just for Xbox games releasing, but also, like, let's start to see, a little bit of Avowed, Hellblade, State of Decay 3, like some of these games that are maybe a little bit further out. Let's start to see them a little bit, and I think we will for a good amount of them. So let me know what you guys think in the comments. Make sure you guys are subscribed, bell icon turned on, and I'll see you all on the next one.